This May, journey through spectacular mountain scenery and picturesque cities as you experience 3 alpine countries with our very own Travel Bug Girls Guide Kara and local experts. This enchanting 10-day journey across Switzerland, Austria, and Bavaria will leave you breathless with wonder and eager to return. To learn more, visit our website at travelbuggirls.com/Europe. That's travelbuggirls.com/Europe.
So I had bought like a pajama outfit that was just like Maui's body, like in the pajamas, not a costume. It was too hot for all that. And we walked in, it was early morning hours going into Animal Kingdom, and all the cast members were standing out front in front of their little stores and their little restaurants. And they were just making a fuss over him. I mean, oh my gosh, do you see Maui? Maui, demigod of the land and sea. Just like one thing right after another. And it was so magical. Like it makes me want to cry to think about it. But so that was we're doing this all the time. We love Disney.
Welcome to the Travel Bug Girls podcast, the show where we dive into the world of travel, exploring everything from expert tips and insider secrets to unforgettable destinations and the latest trends. Whether you're a seasoned globetrotter or planning your very first adventure, we've got you covered with the advice and inspiration you need to make your travels truly unforgettable. So sit back, relax, and let's take your travel planning to the next level.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Travel Bug Girls podcast. I'm Kimmy, and I'm here with Cassie today. And today we are going to talk about all things magical, the magic of Disney. So I actually grew up, fun fact, I grew up in Florida, about 2 hours from Disney. So when we would go to Disney, I guess we've been a few times growing up, but we would just like go down for the day, spend the day, and then drive back home. And so it wasn't until I moved to Alabama that I learned that people go to Disney World and stay for like a whole entire week. And then I learned that there's a lot of planning in this process. Even as an adult, the 2 times that I've gone, it has been like last minute. We only went for the day and we just jumped in and did it. So I am.
And how did that turn out, Kimmy? Was that
it was actually great. It was actually great. Both times were great. In fact, the last time we went was probably my favorite time, and it was total like that time we did stay on property. But we got in late the night before, stayed the night, and then spent the whole day and then left.
Anytime I talk to somebody a while that has anything negative to say about Disney, when I do some digging, it's always there was no plan. They showed up like Six Flags and bought tickets that day at the ticket counter, only to be met with the relentless Florida heat and ride lines that were, an hour plus. They had no other knowledge of, which used to be the fast pass system. Now it's lightning lanes and all that. There was no strategy. There was no prior, planning. Anytime that I've ever encountered anybody that's had a negative experience with Disney, that was their experience. With that being said, I always tell people, if you've been multiple times, you can show up and just kind of wing it and have a good time. But, even to know where things are in relationship to the park and not wander around aimlessly, that eats up a lot of your time. It takes some prep.
I definitely, if I was going multiple days, if you're going more than one day, I would say you definitely have to plan things out for sure. So for me, I know when I started as a travel agent, that was like my one thing is like, I don't want to do Disney. I don't want to have to plan all that. Like it sounds really overwhelming. And so that's why we have you, because you love that and you are the expert. And I think that like some people were just made for planning Disney vacations. So I will say, like, if you're going to Disney, probably the first tip would be get a Disney travel agent, because that is going to make your trip, your planning like a million times smoother. So let's just start kind of at the beginning. Like there's different Disney parks. Let's just start there and go for it, Cassie. Tell us all things.
So let me tell you why I fell in love with Disney to begin with. I also did not want to plan Disney originally when I came on. I wanted to plan family trips, but Disney is so vast. There's so many rules, and then there's rules that go with rules that like they don't talk about, and you have to kind of find out in a roundabout way. Your dining, everything has to be done prior to going to Disney. So, and as just a person on the street to think, oh, today is 60 days before my Disney vacation, I'm going to wake up at 5 a.m. and get all these restaurants that I want. Most people don't want to do that. I love to do it. Okay. I love that. But it's fun to me, but I realize to most people that's not fun. Okay. So the very first time I went, I had never been to Disney. I was almost 30 years old and my oldest child was 2. Mm-hmm. So, we went and it was kind of stressful. We had a good time, but there was a lot of things like we didn't understand. And the heat is, I can't understate the heat. Okay. If you've never been and you think, oh, well, it gets hot where I live. I don't know what it is about Florida heat. It's just different. It's wet. It's like having a towel around your head and being stuck in my oven. Like I don't, and you can't understand, and you have to prepare. So anyway, the second time we went, we were like all gung ho. So we were going to do a Halloween party because we're Halloween people and we love Halloween. So the morning of the Halloween party, we went to Animal Kingdom, and my son at the time was really into Moana. So he wanted to be Maui for the Halloween party. So I had bought like a pajama outfit that was just like Maui's body, like in the pajamas, not a costume. It was too hot for all that. And we walked in, it was early morning hours going into Animal Kingdom, and all the cast members were standing out front in front of their little stores and their little restaurants. And they were just making a fuss over him. I mean, oh my gosh, do you see Maui? Maui, demigod of the land and sea. Just like one thing right after another. And it was so magical. Like it makes me want to cry to think about it. But so that was we're doing this all the time. We love Disney. But that was the first time that we went that it was really like what I would consider the magic showed up. So that's how we kind of got, into the whole Disney thing. We all enjoy it. I do think, so there's Walt Disney World in Florida that has 4 parks and 2 water parks. So that's 6 parks altogether if you're going to count the water parks. And then there's Disneyland in California. And I think that's the very base. You'll hear people say, I'm going to Disneyland, and they're going to Florida. If you buy tickets to Disneyland, you will not get into Disney World. Okay. We've all been behind those people in line. They don't know where to find their tickets. And that's a lot of money to spend to be wrong.
Yeah. Very wrong. Not just like, oh, we'll go to this other park 20 minutes away. No.
No. So I've been to both Disneyland and Disney World. Disney World is, I would go to Disneyland as much as Disney World because I also love Disneyland, but I can see Disneyland only has 2 parks. It's much more confined. In Disney World, when you pass under the archway, you are in what they call the Disney bubble. You will not see anything non-Disney. And for us, that's magic. Like, it just feels like you can feel the stress leaving your body. I'm not being dramatic. Like, it's for real. Okay. Our kids are so excited. We're so excited. It's such a big deal. So the 4 parks at Disney, the 2 water parks, Typhoon Lagoon and Blizzard Beach, generally you're not going to, most people don't go with the water parks specifically in the forefront of their mind. However, lately Disney's been doing a promo where on your check-in day, you get a free water park day. So we've done that the last 2 times we went, and it's been fantastic. Like, we went in December and it was warm enough to go to the water park, which just blows my mind. Yeah. I mean,
it's not always that warm in December in Florida, but sometimes it is. Having grown up in Florida, I have been to the beach on New Year's Day.
Oh my gosh.
And it was warm, like in shorts and a t-shirt and flip-flops. So but sometimes it gets cold. It's been cold down there
Here
lately.
in January, it was unbelievably cold. The morning we left, it was like 20-some degrees, and I had only packed shorts and t-shirts because I thought, it probably never gets cold in Florida, and we had to buy cold weather stuff while we was doing. Don't do that. Okay? Get a travel agent that tells you, hey, pack layers. Bring a scarf. So the 4 main parks are Magic Kingdom, which is where the castle is. That's what everybody thinks of when they think of Disney. Magic Kingdom, the castle, Mickey, Main Street, USA. Then there's Hollywood Studios, which is my family's favorite park because that's where Star Wars is.
Mm-hmm.
Hollywood Studios also has Toy Story Land. It's got its own, old world, old Hollywood kind of charm. It's fantastic. We love it. Animal Kingdom, which is, it's a lot like a zoo kind of. Animal Kingdom doesn't have as many rides, but there's a lot of trails that, they have animals there, tigers, gorillas. They have a really cool, like, nocturnal bat house situation that my kids love. They have a lot of, they have shows there. Festival of the Lion King is fantastic. And then there's Epcot, which is like, I think if everybody thinks about Disney, Epcot's like your second because of the ball. And, a lot of people, if you like to drink, everybody likes to drink around the world in Epcot. We aren't so much in that crowd, but there's a lot of rides there we like. We've talked about Figment before. We're big Figment folks.
Yes.
But that's your basic overview of Disneyland versus Disney World. And, obviously you need either a travel agent that's going to ask you all the right questions, or you're going to have to do a massive amount of homework to figure out where you want to go. Is it worth going? Right now, Disney's doing a lot of construction. And I've been telling most of my people, unless you're an Animal Kingdom stan, like, you've got to go do Flight of Passage, or you have to go do Kilimanjaro safaris. There's only a couple of rides, Dino Land USA is getting a complete overhaul. Rafiki's Planet Watch is closing here in the next little bit. That's going to be a Bluey area, and I think Australia. So the train's closed. So these are things, I don't think the normal crowd would know. We watch Disney YouTube and Disney news like every day. Like we watch the local news, we watch Disney news every day. So I know that sounds kind of crazy, but we love it.
Well, it's good for you to stay up on that. Like I would have no idea of what's closed and open and what's getting construction right now. But as a, travel agent that specializes in that, you're right. You need to know that before a family spends, $10,000 on a trip, and then half of what they thought they were going to ride isn't open. So I can see why you would watch that every day. It's a lot of moving parts and a lot of things that are shifting. So it's important to stay up on that. Yeah.
It also helps my children because they also watch this stuff and they love Disney like we love Disney. It helps them measure, I think with any sort of trip, we've talked about this in the past, expectations is what is going to either make or break your trip.
Yes.
If somebody is, their number one ride is Big Thunder Mountain. Like, I went 20 years ago, I rode Big Thunder Mountain. I loved it. That's the one thing I'd really like to do this time. Well, guess what? Big Thunder Mountain is closed until the summer. Okay. So if you go right now, you're not going to get to ride Big Thunder Mountain. And to go there and find that out that day, I can see how that would just devastate.
Yeah.
We do top 3 at Disney, top 3 rides, if you could go and you could only do one thing, what would that be? And in a family of 4, that's 8 things. And as long as we do those things, then we've had a good trip. And anything else is just a bonus.
Yeah. That's, I like that. Knowing your must-dos before you go really helps you be able to plan. And then if you get more than that, great. But what you absolutely really want to focus on. It kind of helps plan everything out. So how long do you guys stay when you go? Or how long do you recommend that people stay?
as long as we possibly could. No, generally, this is the thing. There's so much to do in Florida that's not Disney. And like, I love Disney, but I'm not oblivious to everything else in the world too. You know, we went to Universal but once we get to Disney, we have a hard time getting away from Disney. So, you know, there's Legoland, there's SeaWorld, there's all kinds of things. If you know, what your kids, there's a wax museum down there that's really cute. If you like that kind of stuff, there's aquariums, there's Ripley's, there's all kinds of things. So generally to stay, I like to do a park a day. So if I was saying the magic number would be 5 days, maybe 6. This is my rationale for this. A park day is a long day. Even if you break it up and take a break in the middle, to wake up at 7 a.m., be there, be in that crowd of people, in that heat, you know, we always take a midday break and then go back about 4 or 5 o'clock and stay till close. By the time you do that 2 days, the third day is starting to not feel like it's worth whatever it is you paid to get in. So, I always do a rest day in the middle. Like, if you stay at Disney resorts, which I would highly recommend, the pools are fantastic. There's entertainment there. If you stay at a moderate to deluxe resort, sometimes the characters even come to the resort. There's always activities at the resorts. So to have a rest day is really worth it. Just a day where everybody can kind of sleep in and not be in a rush. It really helps, you know, not feel like Disney's not a vacation. Disney is I like to say it's an adventure. It's a trip because you're more tired generally coming from Disney than you are going to Disney.
Yeah.
But that ultimately, you don't want a park day the day that you show up unless you could get there super duper early. I mean, we done that once and it was not worth it. Like, we went into the parks at 2 o'clock and we were out of there by 8, and it was a complete waste of the day. But you do need a rest day. Do not underestimate the fact that you need to rest.
Yeah, I would definitely agree with that. We went to Universal for 2 days a couple years ago, and if we would have stayed if we would have tried to do a third day, we would have been completely exhausted. Like, we didn't even stay open till close. We tried, and we were just like so exhausted.
It's so much walking, like
it is
from
so
the parking lot.
Yes. And I'm used to walking. Like, I walk a lot at my job. And so I was like, oh, I'll be fine. But no.
I don't think there's any amount of everyday walking that is going to compare.
No. My feet were about to fall off every day at the end of the day.
Oh my God. With that being said, I will say something that most people don't think of. We have done special events. So Disney has, you know, Halloween parties, Christmas parties, those kind of things. And generally, if you get a party ticket, it's an extra cost. So you don't want a theme park ticket for that day. Usually, some people do. And if you do, that's fantastic. If you want to get up at 7 a.m. and you want to be up till 2 a.m., you know, you're my kind of folks. But you also have to know that there's a limit. Okay, you're not going to stay up till 2 a.m. and then tomorrow get up at 6 a.m. or 7 a.m. to rope drop a park the next day.
Yeah.
So you need to really think about, you know, the impact that these special, you can't plan to stay 2 a.m. at a Halloween party and then, we're going to rope drop Animal Kingdom tomorrow, which opens at 7:30, with, you know, 4 hours of sleep, you know, that kind of thing. Disney also has, like, Epcot has festivals. There's Festival of the Holidays, Festival of the Arts. Excuse me. Oh my gosh, which ones am I forgetting, Kimmy? Festival of Holidays,
Food and Wine Festival.
Food and Wine. That's the longest one. There's one more. We've been to all 4 festivals, and I can't remember the other one. But there's always, like, special offerings, special food offerings. If you are somebody that likes to try, like, a lot of different kinds of eats and drinks and stuff, like, those are fantastic. But generally, we don't put a lot of emphasis on that because the lines for the food booths are out just crazy. And a lot of times we'll have stuff staked out that we want to eat, and we walk around and the line's looks like it's like a 20-minute line to wait on poutine. And it's like, I could go ride a ride and watch a show and all of that while you're waiting on this food. So generally, we don't do a lot of that. But there is people that just go for that, and, you know, that's fantastic.
What about, I actually already know your answer to this, but I'm going to ask it anyway. Staying on property versus staying off property. Let's talk about, Yeah, let's talk about that briefly,
Oh my
because we
gosh,
could probably do a whole episode. But
yes. Oh my gosh. So, okay, I'll throw this out as a precursor. Some people want to try to pick and peck, and they think, oh, I can get this whole house for $1,500, close to Disney. And then if you don't stay on Disney property, you don't get the dining plan as an option. We love the dining plan. There's a lot of people that are like, no dining plan, and like, I get it. If anybody wants to not do the dining plan, you are going to come out cheaper not doing the dining plan. With that being said, if you do a lot of sit down meals, a lot of character meals, one character meal can run my family $450 easy. So if I'm paying, my husband, say we're $70 a day, me and him, a lot of times Disney will do like kids have free dining plans. We got that deal in this fall. We don't pay anything for our baby's dining plan, and then Axel's will be the same as ours. So that's $150 a day. So if one meal is $450, that's the way I look at it. We like to have all that paid for up front because we spend considerably less. If we pay for our meals, we don't have to have much in the way of funding. Also, to stay on property, you get early park entry.
Yes.
You get in 30 minutes before the general public. So 30 minutes at Disney is a huge amount of time to get some rides done if you are serious and you walk with intent. Also, parking is $30 a day. You don't pay for parking if you stay on property. Okay. Also, if you stay in a deluxe resort, which I know, not everybody, and I don't stay in a deluxe resort very much, but if you do stay in a deluxe resort, or you can get a good deal on a deluxe resort, Disney has extra evening hours, usually one park every couple of days, and you get 3 hours after that park closes to be in that park with only deluxe resort guests. So pretty much any ride you can think of is a walk-on, and you can ride it as many times as you want to in 3 hours. And that to me is fantastic.
Yeah, that has a lot of value.
Yes. So, but, if you're really watching your budget, there's some hotels that are, also with Disney on property, you have Disney transportation. So if you, we always rent a car just because my husband's that way. But sometimes we do take the Skyliner or the monorail or whatever to, wherever it is that we're wanting to go. The monorail is our preferred means of transportation, but the Skyliner is fantastic too. But then there's the buses, and, if you stay off Disney property, you have to figure out how your transportation's going to line up. Are you driving? Are you renting a car? Are you paying an Uber $20 one way?
And that is a whole process, like the parking, the tram, the entrance, the getting to the that in itself is a whole process to navigate.
Right. But that solidifies the Disney bubble. You don't see anything there. Universal, the thing that I notice at Disney and Universal is the helicopter noise. There's so many helicopters when you're in Universal, and you're like, what are these helicopters? I'm from the country, y'all. It's quiet where I live. Okay.
I didn't even notice. I've never even noticed that.
And my husband, and I think generally the crowd is a happier crowd at Disney. You can speak to people. You have people that are ugly and mean and say things anywhere, but as a general rule, most people at Disney are happy at Disney. Let me tell you, my husband is like the most morning person, and we went to Universal for Halloween Horror Nights. He also gets up at the crack of dawn, like 5 a.m., 6 a.m. sleeping. He went downstairs to like get something for breakfast, and he was just like, telling people good morning, and they were like these blue-haired people that was like sneering, like, and he was like, nobody said good morning. Nobody said good morning today. So he is very.
Maybe it was the Halloween Horror Night crowd.
I told him I really think that they were still up from the night before. They had not had a restful night of sleep.
Very well could be. Very well could be.
Yes, we very much are pro staying on property, but I can help you find things off property if you're into that. Sometimes stay at good neighbor hotels too. Sometimes like that free breakfast is going to save you some money in the long run. But I mean, is it going to save you $30 plus to park?
Right.
And all that. So
Yeah.
that's just things that you need to think about.
Let's talk about the actual like in-park experience. So I know there's an app, and then you've got dining. You can order dining through the app, reservations through the app. The lightning lane and all of that has kind of changed. So let's talk about that a little bit, like how
the app is your life. Bring some sort of backup battery system for your phone. Also in the app, I know you didn't bring this up, but PhotoPass also links to your everything. You have to have a My Disney experience to get your tickets. Like even if a travel agent buys your tickets for you, you have to link those tickets in your app, which I do for my people. If they're willing to share their information and password to My Disney experience, I'll link your tickets. Like I'll do that for you. But so here's for dining, for lightning lanes, all of those things have to be done day of. So you need to familiarize yourself with the app. That's another positive with travel agent. Like if you don't want to dive into the YouTube rabbit hole of everything Disney, like I can tell you specific things to watch to kind of help navigate. You have to have we have been in line, I kid you not, behind people that had no idea where to find their tickets. They had not downloaded the My Disney Experience app. And let me tell you, if you're starting off there with your Disney day, like let's just flush 2 hours.
It's gonna be a long day.
Like let's just flush 2 hours away, because you're gonna have to be pulled aside. Like you've got to create a profile, all that stuff. So there's pros and cons to that. I love the My Disney Experience app because I know how to use it. But I do not like the fact that you have to be on your phone so much at Disney. If you're going to lightning lane and you're going to max out your day, you're going to be on that phone quite a bit. I always tell my kids if I'm doing that, and I don't walk around, like some people will refresh their screen for lightning lanes. Like say you've got time to have a lightning lane, so they're going to refresh, trying to get Tiana's or trying to get Haunted Mansion. I'll say I'm going to do that for 2 minutes. I'm going to sit down here and I'm going to try to get that. And if I can't get it, I'm going to move on with my day, because you could
spend your whole day just
obsessing about that. And I see so many parents walking around with their children that are just completely ignoring their children in their phones. And like, I understand that you have to do that to a degree, but you don't have to completely like devote your whole day to that. Okay.
Yeah.
Some things need to be organic. Like if I'm going to be fiddling on my phone, I'll take my kids to an area where they can kind of play or do something. And I'll say, I'm going to do this for, this amount of time, or I'm going to sit down here and we're going to order our quick service food and you tell me what you want, and then you can play right there, and then we're going to look at the menu and order our stuff. So I always try to communicate with my kids, because I think we get so worked up in these phones, and it's such a service. And you're there to make memories.
Yeah.
And you don't want your memory to be you on your phone while your kids are doing whatever.
How much of that can be done like before you actually get to the park?
So if you decide you're going to buy lightning lanes, if you're staying on property, another perk of staying on property, you can book your lightning lanes out a week in advance. And that's a week from the first day of your check-in. So if you're staying 8 days or whatever, you can book your whole trip 7 days out. So and they have you to choose your top 3 rides. And Disney's rides are in a tier system. So there's tier 1, tier 2, and tier 3 rides. So you can't, get all the bangers as you're, you're going to have to try to fight for those. So let's say, you want Tiana's, Pirates, and Journey of the Little Mermaid, and that's your top 3. It'll throw you out some times that you can take those. And generally I take them because I'll modify them if it's not something that, and lightning lanes are good generally. You can show up usually about 5 minutes early, but they don't completely disappear till about 2 hours after the time's passed. So you can still scan in up to 2 hours past on that ride if you had a lightning lane for it. And once that time passes, you could book another lightning lane. So 7 days out, you can kind of have you a base plan of, but way before then, 60 days before that, you're going to need to know what kind of parks you're going to be in on what days, because you've got to book your dining 60 days out. And if you want dining, if you want Ohana or Cinderella's Royal Table or something, like, you got to jump on at 7 a.m. 60 days out to get those reservations. So those are the dining reservations are very important if dining is important to you. If you want to go there and just quick service it and eat chicken tendies, like, we've done that too. And not did sit down meals. My husband was not satisfied with no sit down meals. So to answer your question, lightning lanes can be up to 7. If you're staying off property, it's 3 days out. So if you're 3 days out, there's a higher chance that some of those big Frozen, if you've got little girls, Frozen and Epcot's one that goes really quick. Slinky Dog, if you've got a little one that's going to, do a roller coaster for the first time, or you're thinking they're going to do Slinky Dog, that one's probably going to be gone if it's 3 days out. Disney works really hard to give you what you want because they also want you to have a positive experience. But sometimes, depending on the time of year you go, that may be feasible, that may not be feasible.
Yeah. Well, that's something we didn't even touch on, is what is a good time of year to go. The last time that I went, that we literally, I think it was a week before that we decided we were going to go. Maybe not even that much before. We went in, it was October. It was mid-October. And it was not bad. It was not that crowded. The weather was pretty good. And then the time we went before that was, I think, November, if I remember right, like around Thanksgiving, maybe. It was a little more crowded, but still not too bad. I was actually surprised at how it was not that bad. What do you suggest?
We've been every time except June and July. I have a hard time with the heat, and that July just seems like that would be crazy heat wise. We went on spring break this past year, and I booked it prior to knowing that was the week of spring break, and I thought, oh no, what have I done?
Yeah,
it's going to be terrible. But I will say it was probably the best trip we ever had because I researched so hard, and we were ahead of the crowd at everything we did. Like, my husband didn't believe it. He was like, do you see these people? Like, this line of people behind us? Like, we would get to somewhere just right before the whole crowd would hit there. So it is possible to go at a very crowded time. And if you have somebody to help you, it is possible to have a positive experience. I will say too, no amount of planning ever goes perfectly.
Yeah.
You can plan all you want, but things are going to happen, and you're going to have to be chill with, changing. We've been enough that, we have a backup plan to the backup plan,
I think that was a good kind of overview start to people that maybe are thinking about Disney or wanting to know a little bit more, or maybe they're like me and they are scared to plan more than one day. So you've given me some good tips, so I think it'll be helpful. If we ever decide to go, I will be calling you.
Something I would say too that scares a lot of people, because I'll quote a lot of people and then I never hear a word from them. But I always try to, tell people that, hey, it's going to seem expensive right out of the gate. Like, if, ultimately your window for Disney, you want it to be a year out or more, that's what I consider your optimal planning time, is 12 months at least. But with that being said, Disney has discounts that come out all the time. And if you're not a travel agent, you're not going to know about these discounts, or you're going to get on Instagram and you're going to see some lady talking about discounts that was from 2 years ago.
Yeah.
And when you go there, it's not going to be there. And so sometimes if you will plan that trip and then you have a good travel agent that'll watch for a discount, you can tweak it and you can save a couple of $1,000. That's always how I've done it since. I always booked September and January, paid on it. Then about May, when September and fall and Christmas discounts come out, they would apply those discounts. And, I'd either get free dining, or it's usually like 20 or 30% off your room. Sometimes you got free tickets, that kind of thing. So people, and they don't know how much their whole trip costs. If you're paying $1,500 for a house, that's great, but you're paying $4,000 for tickets for 5 days at Disney for your family. So that's, $5,500. and then you have to pay for all your food. But then if you would have did a Disney package deal, you would have got it all for $6,500. Are you really saving any money by booking it separate? You know, and then you have to budget out all those little parking and you know, transportation and those things, and all that, you know, costs money. What are you coming out? But people don't know. They just think, oh my God, $6,000. Well, I could spend $6,000 like this weekend in Gatlinburg. You know, people don't know what they spend
in smaller
a different way.
Amount. Yeah, I agree. And sometimes, like we were saying, like with the parking and with staying on property and some of that stuff, and like even the dining options, sometimes it's worth a little bit more to have like ease of process. Yes, to have the convenience, like especially when you're doing like these big long park days. You have a lot of moving parts. You have, you know, kids. You have a lot of people that you're navigating with. Like sometimes to just have it all worked out and know that all I got to do is show up for this. You know, we got this meal at this time. All I've got to do is show up. I don't have to go through and try to jump on the app at this time. And, you know, and like with the parking, navigating the whole parking lot and getting the tram and this and that, like it's worth a little bit more to just have a smoother, more convenient experience, I think, a lot of times.
And especially I will say too, family. Even with little kids, if you're going ride to ride, you're not spending a lot of time in these stores. The very first time we ever went, we use Magic Bands. We always use Magic Bands. So we tap for everything, because everything that's in your My Disney experience is also on your Magic Band. And I would say whatever a Magic Band costs, used to be they were free. So, you know, bummer that they're not free anymore. But everything is so much easier to tap, because sometimes your phone doesn't work good. It's your room key. You could put your card on it. You don't have to put your card on it. So the first time we went, my husband thought every time we were tapping our Magic Band, it was spending money. So we had the dining plan. So we'd tap our thing when we ate and this, that, and the other. So he thought we were spending money. No lie. We were there for a week. And Disney does weird stuff on your card too. Like I would say, do not use if you have a credit card, don't use your bank card, because sometimes they'll put holds and they'll release it. So they don't take the final payment out till you check out. Okay. That's actually what you spend if you charge stuff back to your room. So we stayed a week, and my husband was like, boy, I can't wait to see what this is going to be. Cause you know, no lie, we spent $600 for the week. That's the only extra money that we spent. And he was like, oh my God, we could spend more than that at the mall. Like in the weekend, this is the best trip we've ever taken. And that was one of the things that kind of solidified on going back, is because we don't have a lot of downtime to do a lot of shopping, right? So you know, you do exit through gift shops. That is that's a thing. You do that. So if you have kids that have problems with impulse control, like, you are going to exit through the gift shop. But we look around a lot, and a lot of times I'll tell my kids, you know, if it's something you think you want, let's take a picture of it on our phone, and at the end of the day, if you know whatever it is you wanted the most, we'll go back and get. So that's kind of a way I circumvent, you know, impulse purchasing in every store. Is let's think about it. Let's think about what we want the most. And if that $35 figment is what you want, then that's what we will go back and get. And we do that. So that's another way you can kind of help your kids. That could be a whole episode.
Yeah, we might have to make that an episode. I like that idea. It's a good idea to take a picture of it and then circle back to it, because they might see 5 more things after that they're like, oh, I want this, oh, I want this, oh, I want this. Yeah. Well, thank you so much for joining me today, Cassie, and sharing your Disney expertise with us. I learned a lot. Hopefully our listeners did too. And like I said, I think we definitely need to do at least one more. Thank you so much. And I hope you have a great day. And thank you all for joining us.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you for tuning in to this week's episode of the Travel Bug Girls podcast. Be sure to subscribe to get our new episodes every week. We'd love to connect with you on social media. Share your answer to this week's podcast question with us at facebook.com/travelbuggirls. You can find us on your favorite social media by using @travelbuggirls. Want to join our VIP group? You'll find us on Facebook groups under TBG Travel Bugs. Learn more about the Travel Bug Girls and what we do on our website at travelbuggirls.com. Until next time, keep exploring,
Keep dreaming and safe travels. Ready for that summer girls trip you've always wanted? Join us this July for a dreamy summer escape to Mexico's Riviera Maya and the Bahamas from beautiful Miami. 5 nights on Virgin Voyage's Resilient Lady in a sea terrace room with balcony and hammock. This cruise is adults only and designed for the perfect escape. Spend the day in the spa, lounge by the pool, or dance the night away with friends. Don't let another summer go by without an epic vacation. For more information, visit travelbuggirls.com and click the Girls Trip tab. That's travelbuggirls.com.